Hello everyone, it's Lillian from Stamper's Niche popping on, and hopefully we've got everything going the right direction this time. So let me just double check on my screen, and it is not. So I wonder, let me just see here. So maybe that's the old one. Let's just see here. I think we've got it. We're in business. So I'm just popping on because so many of you asked how my friend Karen made this card. In other words, how did she get so many colors on each stamp here? So I thought I'd just it's easier to hop on and show than it is to try to talk you through. And Karen gave me permission to show this to you. So thank you, Karen, and let's see how we go about it. First off, she had 2 pieces of paper. Hi, Linda. Welcome. This was, I'm so glad you caught me because this is just very spur of the moment. So I have a card base here, and then we're going to do all the action. Everything's going to happen on this piece, which is just a 1/4 of an inch smaller in height and in width. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. And of course, you can always switch that up however you want. I'm going to bring some scrap paper in. Now, you'll notice here that Karen has this border. And how did she achieve that? Well, she brought in, she could have done it a couple of different ways. It could be a sticky note, or Post-it note and laid it down, or there's this wonderful little thing like this. It's a Post-it note. It is a Post-it note, just a strip, or you could use painter's tape, anything that is going to be removable. So let's just decide. First of all, I need a strip that is long enough, and if you could see the side of my desk, after I'm used this, I just stick it to the side of my desk and use it again. So I'm going to come up 1, 2 squares and go directly across. You know what? That doesn't leave me much in the way for words. I'm going to change my mind here and come up to grid squares 2 1/2 about, I think, right about there. And I've got it. Looks pretty straight to me. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Sorry, this truly is impromptu. I am forgetting what I'm doing. I'm putting this down where I need to stamp. So I will come up 2 1/2 this way, making sure my papers. So just what you need to do is just mask off the areas you do not want the ink to go. So that's why I'm doing that. And then I'm going to take another strip, and I'm going to leave some space. And I think I'm going to go right about here. I'm using my grid paper again to line things up. Now, the first thing that she did is she created this background, and she created that by using crumb cake ink and a blending brush, or you could use a sponge, and we'll just fill in that space. And you see, because it's masked, I can start on the tape part, the masked part, and get that initial pounce there, and then it comes on nice and smooth. There we go. I can see it starting to fill in. I think I want a bit more. So this is crumb cake, and you'll notice that, why am I holding it way back here when sometimes I hold it up here? I find that I get a lighter pressure on here, and therefore I don't get those dark marks as readily. So it takes a little bit longer, and it feels like you're not doing much of anything, but it is easy to keep your color even, or more even anyway. So we're just filling in that like that. And maybe a bit more. Sometimes it's hard to stop. This is rather addictive, like this. And there we go. I think I'm going to leave it like that. She may have had it a bit darker, but it'll be close enough, I think. So I'm going to close that up and get it out of the way. And then this is where a lot of you asked, this is the technique that a lot of you asked about. So I'm going to bring in crushed curry. I'm going to move this and this because I've got a lot of ink coming in here. Pumpkin pie. Cajun craze. And garden green. Now these are all from the same color family, from the Regals, and they play nicely together. Then I'm going to bring in sponge daubers. Now sponge daubers come in packages of 5 like this, and over the years I have collected one for each of the colors. If you don't have that many, if you only have a few, remember you can wash them out. They'll be stained, but once they're dry, then they'll be good to go again. So there's garden green, Cajun craze, pumpkin pie, and I'm just going to put crushed curry over here. So if we look at Karen's card, she has her leaves going every which direction. So let's start with this leaf right here. So I'm going to bring that in. And now I don't know if Karen did this, but I like to always start with a light color and ink the whole stamp. And I'm not going to worry if it's all covered or not. So that is, whoops, I don't think I got a whole lot on there. So that was dipped in Cajun Craze, the yellow, because it's the lightest. Now I'm going to bring in my sponge daubers, ink them up, and just add a bit here and there. So maybe a bit there, and some Cajun Craze, yeah, sure. And how about a little garden green? Whoops, I really got a heavy hand on that garden green. Now, because I've been playing with this ink, and it's been drying out, I'm going to huff on it. I'm going to puff. Hi, Catherine. So good to see so many of you on this. All right, then I'm going to press down. And you'll see that there's that little ridge there and there. I'm not too worried about it, and I cut some of my leaf off, but you're seeing that I'm getting the variegated colors there. So now I'm going to bring in another leaf. Again, I'm going to play it safe and ink it up in the Cajun curry, or in the crushed curry first. And this time I'm going to add a little bit of the green down the middle, and I'm going to put some Cajun Craze like that. Every time it's going to turn out totally different. There's no guarantees. So there, we've got pumpkin pie. Let's try this, and we'll put this one here. I'm going to lower it so I can get the top of the leaf here, like that. And then we'll put it down and we'll bring in another one. And again, I'm going to bring in the light base color first and then just start layering up. And this time I'm going to start with Cajun Craze and a bit of pumpkin pie, like that. And I'm going to actually tap some of the garden green off so it's a little bit lighter this time, and huff and puff. There we go. So there you can see I'm getting a totally different look every time. Now this one, before I do it again, has to be cleaned. So I'm going to bring in my chamois. So the chamois comes twice the size. So it comes this size, like that. I cut mine in half just because I find it easier to manage, and just clean it off in there. Now, if your chamois gets all hard, like this one here, just put some water in a sink or the bowl or whatever, pop it in, and a minute later it's ready to go. So now again, I'm going to do one more, and let's see, what shall I do? Okay. Add some garden green, Cajun Craze, and some pumpkin pie. There we go. Do a huff. And there we go. So now we've got our leaves stamped there. I'm going to bring in this leaf right here and clean it because I want to, while I've got everything out, I want that for the inside of my card too. If you can see, Karen put one in the inside, you could put one on the envelope. So let's bring in my card here. I'm going to move this. I'm just going to put it sideways for a minute because I don't want to get it in the ink. Cajun Crate. There we go. I'm not even in the camera, am I? There we go. That's a little better. And just a couple of dabs of the green. And we'll stamp it in the corner like that. And now we've got the inside stamped as well while we've got everything out. So now we can close up the ink pads and check out a little bit of magic. Because when we remove the tape, so let's do it gently. It wouldn't matter how removable, I guess is the word, tape is. I always find it's best to do it gently, not just to rip it off, and even to go at an angle. So we've got that one there. It's just like magic. I should have stamped that a little lower down, but I didn't. There we go. And that's how we get multiple colors on a leaf or on any stamp. And mine is a little darker than Karen's, but you can see that I'm getting the same type of look. So we can go like that and then just add a sentiment, some linen thread or a bow. And there is a technique that is so much fun to have. This technique works beautifully on things like trees, leaves, flowers, anything you like multiple colors on. So you've never seen this Post-it note before. Do you know what? It is in any of the office supply stores like Staples or anything. That's where I found this one. I know it can be found on Amazon as well. It is a Post-it note, Post-it product. So that's what you would be looking for. Catherine, you love this technique? Yes, I do too. I love masking and doing this, and you can get a 1-layer card. I technically wouldn't even have had to put it on here. I could have done it directly on the card front, and yet it looks like it's multi-layers. So it's just a lot of fun. So give it a try. Have some fun with it and add colors to your stamps that way. All right. Thanks for joining me, folks, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.